Hey there, and welcome to another trip report. I've just arrived at Toronto's Pearson Airport on an Air Canada flight from Halifax, and tonight I'll be connecting with Air Canada to Barcelona, testing out the Signature Class product on their Boeing 777-300ER. Signature Class is what Air Canada calls the long-haul business class product on their wide-body aircraft, like the Boeing 777 and 787 and the Airbus A330. Pearson Airport is divided into two main terminals, T1 and T3, with Terminal 1 serving as the home to Air Canada and all other Star Alliance airlines serving the airport, which makes transfers between different Air Canada and partner flights super convenient. Terminal 1 is divided into three distinct gate areas, the D gates dedicated to domestic flights, the F gates for US transborder flights, and the E gates for international flights outside of Canada and the US. My flight from Halifax parked at the D gates, and it's about a 10-minute walk to reach the E gate area after disembarking. On an international Signature Class ticket, travelers have two lounges they can access depending on how they got their seat. For those who purchased a cash business class ticket or used Aeroplan points for a business flexible fare, they'll get access to the Air Canada Signature Suite, a coveted lounge with a restaurant-style menu in elegant facilities. If you didn't acquire your ticket through one of those channels and either used e-upgrade credits like I did tonight, or paid cash for an upgrade from an economy or premium economy ticket, then you'll have access to the Air Canada International Maple Leaf Lounge at the entrance to the E-gate area, right before you descend the escalators to the E-gates. This lounge is open to those traveling in Air Canada Signature Class, Star Alliance Business Class, or Premium Rouge internationally, as well as to Aeroplan 50K members and up, and Star Alliance Gold members. Stepping inside, this space isn't as premium feeling as the International Maple Leaf Lounge in Montreal, and doesn't have the same ambiance, but it is a large space with ample seating. Down near the buffet, you'll find some dining-style seats, and through the rest of the lounge space, you'll find lounger chairs and high tables for sitting and working. There are showers available as well towards the back of the lounge for freshening up. At the buffet this evening, on the center counter, we have a station with a selection of salads and chips and dips, hot offerings including chicken orzo soup, coconut rice and butter chicken, and a vegetarian hot option of pasta along the back wall. There's also a station with build-your-own hamburger sliders, which looks pretty abysmal. The area has a water dispenser, coffee and tea station, and some chocolate chip cookies, along with a self-serve alcohol selection including beers on tap, wines, and various liquors. There's no staffed bar like you'll find in the Montreal lounge, but I guess that means no judgment either. In addition to the chocolate chip cookies for dessert, we also have butter tarts and some fresh fruit. Overall, the food selection isn't fantastic, and the presentation of some of the items could use some work. Speaking about the lounge as a whole, it's a bit tired feeling, and I much prefer the one in Montreal, but regardless, this is a fine place to wait for your flight. Heading down to the gate, the E-gates are conveniently concentrated around a central area, so they aren't far from each other, and there are lots of shops and restaurants throughout the space. Taking a look at the departures board, my flight to Barcelona is AC820 using gate E71 and scheduled for departure at 8:05 p.m. Boarding is set to begin 50 minutes before departure at 7:15. Gate E71 is located in one corner of the gate area and is a truly awful gate. It's forced to share the space with E70, 72, and 73, which are all located on the same corner, and the placement of the wall and doorway make it especially difficult to navigate when people are queuing for any of these gates. Fighting my way through the crowd to get in line, Air Canada boards their aircraft by assigned zone number, with Zone 1 for Signature Class and Aeroplan Super Elite members, Zone 2 for Premium Economy, all other Aeroplan Elite status members, and Star Alliance Gold members, and Zones 3 and up for Economy Class passengers without status. Heading down the jet bridge, I'm getting my first glimpse of our aircraft for today. I'll be on board this 17-year-old Boeing 777-300ER that was delivered new to Air Canada in May 2007. Air Canada operates a fleet of 19 777-300ERs, which is the longer variant of the Boeing 777 family. My aircraft today is in a 3-class configuration with 40 lie-flat pod-style seats in business class, 24 extra reclining seats in premium economy, and 336 standard economy class seats, totaling 400 seats on board. Air Canada also operates a higher density configuration of these planes, which has fewer seats in business and more seats in economy, with a total of 450 seats on board. On this aircraft, the business class cabin is split into 2 sections, with each containing the same style of seat. Rows 1 through 7 are in the larger section at the front, consisting of 26 seats, while rows 8 through 11 are in the smaller section just behind the mid-cabin entry door with 14 seats. All the seats are arranged in a 1-2-1 configuration, with each pod facing away from the aisle. This makes them super private, as the seats across the aisle are facing away from you. I'm booked in seat 9K for this flight, which is a window seat on the right side of the aircraft in the first row of the smaller business class cabin. Pointing towards the window, the footwell of this seat is shielded by the wall in front of it. It's private and spacious, with really no one in my direct line of sight. I personally quite like the mini cabin, as it generally feels more intimate and private than the larger cabin, but a definite con is that all 360 premium economy and economy class passengers walk past you to get to their seat when boarding through the mid-cabin entry door. The pods down the center of the cabin in the middle have a divider for privacy, which is not adjustable, so it unfortunately can't be retracted even if you're traveling with a companion. First impressions, these seats are starting to feel a little dated, but they still have a crisp feel thanks to the albeit rather gray color palette. In terms of baggage storage, the overhead bins on this aircraft are huge, but there's also space under the seat footrest if you want things closer to you. The seats on the Boeing 777 have the most space of any of Air Canada's wide-body business class products. The legroom in the seat is quite impressive, and at 5'10", I'm just barely able to reach the footrest when the seat's in the upright position. Looking around the seat a bit more, every seat is equipped with a large entertainment screen, and the tray table is stowed under the screen with a latch on the underside of the table that allows you to pull it out. When extended, it's super sturdy and also folds out to double the size, giving you tons of surface area. To the right of the screen, we have a large ledge next to the windows, with a compartment hidden underneath where we'll find an AC power outlet, USB-A charging port, and headphone port for connecting to the entertainment system audio, as well as the remote control for the entertainment system. Below the ledge and storage compartment, we have buttons for the seat recline position and this small touchscreen to control different functions of the seat. From this screen, you can control the lighting in the seat with lights in the footwell and overhead. You can request service from the cabin crew or set whether you want to be woken for meals, and you can adjust various seat comfort settings. The seat comfort controls include reclining it or raising the seat leg rest, as well as putting it into fully flat mode. But beyond that, there's a massage function, lumbar support adjustment, and the ability to adjust the firmness of the mattress. Looking at the space underneath the entertainment screen and tray table where your legs go, on the right side there's a 2-tiered pocket, with the provided reading materials stored in one tier and space for a laptop perhaps in the other tier. On the left side of the seat, tucked on the outside edge, there's a small cubby for storing things, though it's very exposed to the aisle, so I can't imagine using it for anything other than garbage. The leather padded armrest here can also be raised at the push of a button. In terms of the seat itself, the surface is a fabric material, and overall it's pretty firm, though there's definitely more padding than the seats back in economy. On the side of the seat wall near my head, there's a small reading light that pops out for use. Up on the overhead panel, we have additional lighting that can be controlled from the screen on the side ledge, with the ability to have one or both lights on at the same time. Also on the overhead panel, we have 2 personal adjustable air conditioning vents. Taking a look at what was provided at the seat when we boarded the aircraft, we have an Aqua di Parma amenity kit, a water bottle, and a pair of noise-canceling headphones for the entertainment system. We also have bedding, including a large plushy pillow, a mattress pad, and a thick blanket. Getting into the amenity kit, we have a good range of items, starting with earplugs, an eye mask for sleeping, a pair of thick socks, a glasses cleaner, a dental kit with mouthwash, a toothpick, toothpaste and a toothbrush, and a skincare kit which includes hand cream and lip balm. The cabin crew handed out menus to each passenger before we left the gate, so let's take a look inside. On tonight's overnight flight, dinner is served shortly after takeoff, followed by a hot breakfast in the morning before landing. For dinner, there's an appetizer, 4 different main meal options, and cheeses and dessert. For the main, there's a Parmesan-crusted chicken, roasted salmon, beef short rib, and mushroom ravioli, with the recommended wine pairings listed for each. In the morning, the breakfast consists of the classic Air Canada parsley omelette with fruit, yogurt, and croissants. There's a separate panel of the menu for alcoholic beverages, which includes a selection of red and white wines, champagne, cocktails, beers, and other spirits, while non-alcoholic beverages are listed on a separate page and include juices, soft drinks, and coffee and tea. The crew also came through with a pre-departure beverage offering sparkling wine or sparkling water.
Illustrated card in your seat pocket or magazine rack explains the many safety features of this aircraft. Please review it sometime before takeoff.
Climbing away from Toronto, our flight time to Barcelona is just under 7 hours, with a routing taking us across eastern Canada and over Newfoundland, then across the Atlantic before reaching the northern coast of Spain, where we'll begin our approach into Barcelona. While we wait for dinner service to get underway, let's check out the entertainment system. Starting off using the remote, this is essentially a miniature version of the larger entertainment screen, allowing you to browse and select content. The remote is touchscreen controlled with buttons on the left and right sides of the screen to toggle different functions like system volume, navigation, overhead seat lighting, and the attendant call button. In general, the remote touchscreen is quick to respond and easy to use. The actual entertainment screen itself is also a touchscreen and can be controlled that way as well. Getting into the system, in terms of on-demand content, we have movies, TV shows, music, audiobooks, podcasts, and games, with a good range of content available under each section. Each content type is sorted into different categories from new releases to dramas to comedies. A search function for the system would definitely be helpful to find specific titles instead of having to scroll through all the content. You can view the food and drink options available on today's flight, current news stories through AFP, the weather forecast at different destinations, and there's also a kids section with on-demand movies, TV shows, and music targeted to kids. One of my favorite parts of the system is the city guide section with information about different cities that Air Canada serves to prepare you for your destination, but unfortunately it looks like Barcelona isn't one of the options in here. From the top right corner of the screen, you can control the overhead reading light and call an attendant, and there's a settings menu where you can control the screen brightness and system volume, as well as other functions like system language, night mode, and parental control. The bottom bar on the screen shows the flight progress, and you can also access the in-flight maps from here. The quality of the maps is quite good, with lots of different viewing options and 3D visuals, as well as information about the flight and a map of destinations Air Canada serves. You're also able to use the remote to control the map, which is a neat integration. About 30 minutes after takeoff, the cabin crew passed through with tablecloths for the dinner service and offered a cleansing hot towel. Service kicked off with a drink and some warm nuts. I tried asking for an Aperol Spritz, which is a new offering in Signature Class and the only cocktail Air Canada lists on the menu, but the flight attendant didn't quite seem to get what I was looking for, so this is what I got instead. Dinner was served about an hour and 20 minutes into the flight, starting off with the appetizer tray consisting of a sesame seed ahi tuna with romesco sauce and pickled vegetables, some warm bread with options of white rolls, garlic bread and multigrain, and a green salad. Mini salt and pepper shakers, butter, and a balsamic vinegar and olive oil salad dressing were provided as well. The appetizer was actually pretty tasty despite me not being a fan of tuna, and you can't really go wrong with some garlic bread. Another beverage service was offered when the tray arrived, and after I finished my appetizer, the flight attendant swapped that dish for my main dish. For the main, I selected the beef short rib with mashed potato, asparagus, and cherry tomatoes. The beef was super tender and basically fell apart. Overall, a tasty dish. After the tray was cleared away, the crew passed through with a dessert cart offering fresh fruit, a selection of cheeses, or a passion fruit coconut tart. Getting up to explore the cabin after dinner, in the midsection galley that separates the two business class cabins, you'll find two lavatories. Stepping inside, it's spacious and clean, and we even have a window to outside. Back at my seat, the cabin mood lighting is shifting from dinner service to a very moody blue to eventual pitch black, which means that it's time for me to get some rest. Getting the seat into lie flat mode and made up with the provided bedding, this will be a comfortable spot for the next 4-ish hours. The one negative piece is that the seat is rather narrow in bed mode, so you don't really have a lot of room to sleep on your side if that's your preference. Three hours of on and off sleep later, the lights are back on, and I've just been jolted awake by a very kind flight attendant who was only following my wake for meal orders. The crew laid another tablecloth and offered a beverage, and then brought over the breakfast tray consisting of a parsley omelette with chicken sausage, potatoes, red pepper relish, and cottage cheese, a croissant, a bowl of fresh fruit, and a yogurt. Salt and pepper, strawberry jam, and butter were provided as well. With breakfast cleared away and a glass of water to help fight the airplane dryness, we have another 45 minutes to go before Barcelona. Overall, this has been a pleasant flight and one of the better ones I've had in Air Canada Signature Class.
Thank you. Welcome to Barcelona. The local time is 9:23. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and your baggage stowed until the seatbelt line.
After touching down at Barcelona's El Prat airport, we're now taxiing over to Terminal 1. Once we disembark, I'll head to immigration first and then onwards to baggage claim. Thanks for joining me for this trip report, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now for some comments on the experience as a whole. Air Canada's Signature Class on their Boeing 777 offers large, private seats that are good for sleeping or just relaxing. The meals on this flight were tasty, and it was generally an easy experience. That being said, while the cabin is comfortable, it is starting to feel a bit dated and lifeless, particularly because of the color choices. I also wasn't thrilled with the pre-departure International Maple Leaf Lounge in Toronto and think there's some definite room for improvement there.